Nebraska is targeting one of the best quarterbacks in the class of 2026, four-star gunslinger Jackson Taylor. So in today's video, I'm going to break down who he is, what he brings to the table, what's his interest in Nebraska, and then I'm going to give you a status update around Dayton Raiola and his recruitment, and I'm going to answer the question, will the Huskers land him, this new guy, or somebody else at that quarterback spot? So really quick, before we dive into this massive recruiting episode, make sure to smash that like button if you're fired up. And hey, as always, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. I post a video about Nebraska football every single day, talking about recruiting and breaking news just like this. So if you're a diehard fan of the program and you want daily content talking about your favorite team, hit that subscribe button. It would help me out greatly. We're on the road to 5,000. But without further ado, let's get into it. Talking about the news, Nebraska is targeting four-star quarterback Jackson Taylor, and man, he is the real deal. Coming out of Los Angeles, California, once again, four-star according to Rivals.com, listed at 6'1", 180. And you just look at the offer list. Georgia, Oregon, Texas A&M, just to name a few. And he is a great prospect. And he was a late addition to visit Lincoln this very weekend. So he is here as we speak through Sunday, talking with Matt Rhule, talking with the coaching staff. And it looks like he's a very high priority for the Huskers in this recruiting class. So talking about Jackson Taylor as a prospect, what can Nebraska fans expect? The first thing that popped out to me on his film is how much of a gunslinger he is. A very quick release. He throws the ball 40, 50 yards with a flick of the wrist at 16 years of age. Last year in his sophomore campaign, had 2,600 yards and 30 touchdowns. Again, really good arm strength, has the ability to roll outside the pocket. I wouldn't necessarily call him a dual threat quarterback. He's very similar to Dayton Raiola where he can roll out. He just prefers to use his arm, which is a very good thing. And an interesting thing about Jackson Taylor is that he's been getting offers since middle school. Since the 8th grade year, schools have been contacting him, trying to get him to their college. That tells you how good he is as a prospect and his upside. So again, he's very interested in the Huskers. He's again coming out of LA. We know that Matt Rhule is trying to forge a connection in California. TJ Lateef, our current quarterback commit in the class of 2025, is also from Cali. So again, they're really trying to get there on the West Coast and bring some of the best prospects to Nebraska. Now, one thing about Jackson Taylor and why he likes the Huskers is he loves Matt Rhule. He thinks he's a very genuine person. He loves the fact that Matt Rhule cares about all of his players more than just what they are on the field. He cares about them off the field and who they're developing as men. So that's really why Jackson Taylor is interested in the Huskers. You've got to wow him over the next couple of days, and hopefully, again, we can start to land some guys in the class of 2026, and nobody better than a four-star quarterback. Now, the big question around him is, how does this relate to Dayton Raiola, of course, the little brother of Dylan Raiola? Now, Dayton was also a very late addition to visit this very weekend. Again, he will be in Lincoln as we speak from Friday to Sunday. Once again, talking with the coaching staff, talking with some of the other prospects in the city. Now, one thing that I want to talk about when it comes to Dayton Raiola is that he's still a very raw prospect. Whenever I talk about Dayton, I have to mention that because he has a very high upside, but too many Nebraska fans just pencil him in like, okay, yeah, Nebraska's going to take him in this class. As of right now, and I'm going to be brutally honest with you, Dayton Raiola is not good enough for the Huskers to take him. He only has 2 other offers, both from Group of 5 schools, and he hasn't got any offers throughout this offseason. And unfortunately for Dayton, he's in a quarterback battle at Buford High School with a guy by the name of TJ Wilcox, and it looks like he's going to lose that battle. For that very reason, Dayton Raiola needs to transfer. And I've been saying this throughout the offseason. Again, he needs to somehow get out of that school, get to another school, because Nebraska can simply not take a quarterback in this class who they've never seen start at a varsity football level. And if he does not start for Buford this year, it might be wraps on his recruitment. And I feel really bad because, again, Dayton Raiola is a great prospect. Okay, what I'm saying right now is not because I think he's bad. Holy cow, I think he has phenomenal upside. But take this from a Matt Rhule perspective. You have 2 quarterbacks on campus right now. You have one in Jackson Taylor, who's a 4-star, who's been starting since his freshman year. And then you have Dayton Raiola, who's going into his junior year and has never started at a varsity level. Okay, for that reason, I'm hoping Dayton transfers because I want to see him on the field, man. I really do, or I'm hoping he wins this quarterback battle last second. But again, for that reason, Dayton is not a lock to come to Nebraska because he just simply hasn't proven enough so far. Again, if the only other schools are group of 5 schools trying to get him and 2 others, that doesn't really tell you too much. Now, honestly, over the next couple of days, I'm not sure if this is going to be happening, but I hope Dayton and both Jackson Taylor, they throw for Matt Rhule, right? They have a little bit of a workout. They show the staff what they got, and that's going to show, again, Matt Rhule, Dayton Raiola's work ethic, his ability, and once again, I believe Dayton Raiola has a phenomenal upside, just as good as his brother. But he's not as far along in the process as his brother was, right? When his brother was going into his junior year, Dylan was the number 1 quarterback in the country. Dayton is only, according to one recruiting site, a 3-star. The other recruiting sites don't have him listed. So, again, that should be very telling to Nebraska fans around his recruitment. But, again, hopefully he throws for the staff. Hopefully he can somehow start for Buford this fall. It does not look like it's going to be the case. Again, what I'm saying right now, I love Dayton Raiola as a prospect, or Dayton Raiola as a prospect. I think he is very good, and I think he has a high upside. He's just very raw right now. But that's my little status update around him. He's got to prove to the staff that he's good enough. And one comment I know I'm going to get real quick is, Wilson, what are the chances Nebraska gets 2 quarterbacks in the class of 2026? You could get a guy like a Jackson Taylor and then perhaps also Dayton Raiola at the very same time, maybe as an insurance addition. That is a possibility given the fact that when both of these guys get on campus to start their college career, Dylan Raiola will likely have only 1 year left, his junior campaign, and then he'll go off to the NFL. So again, that could happen, but more likely than not, Nebraska will only take 1 quarterback in this class, just like they do for most classes. And that's why they really have to lock down on one guy. So Dayton has to impress the staff, man. I'm rooting for him. Okay, I want Dayton because, listen, I think loyalty is very important in recruiting. I think loyalty and just commitment to a school is huge. And Dayton Raiola grew up to be a bigger Nebraska fan than even his brother was. He's always wanted to be a Husker. And it breaks my heart that we're here in this recruiting process where Nebraska's actively been trying to get other quarterbacks, right? They're trying to get Jackson Taylor. They tried to get Oscar Rios, who was a 4-star quarterback in the class of 2026. Okay. They love Dayton. Don't get me wrong. Matt Rhule wants Dayton, but he needs to see more from him. So, again, I'm rooting for this guy. I want him so bad. I've done film reactions about him. But these next couple months are going to be critical in his recruiting process because the worst case scenario for Dayton is that he stays at Buford, he rides the bench the entire year, and we're going into his senior season and his senior off season, and we've never seen him play real snaps of varsity football. And at that point, the staff just can't take him. You cannot take a quarterback who's never played varsity. So that's my only concern about him, like I've said before, but I'm hoping he somehow wins this battle. It doesn't look like he will. So that's the update around Dayton Raiola. Let me know down below. Do you want him in this class? What are you thinking about this other guy, Jackson Taylor? And hey, if you're new to the channel, once again, please hit that like button and subscribe. Really quick, tomorrow at 12 p.m. Central at noon, I will be posting the biggest video I've ever done on this channel. I've been working tirelessly over the last couple weeks, editing, recording, uploading statistics, graphics, everything else. I'm not going to spoil it just yet, but make sure you set your notifications. I'll be posting at noon Central tomorrow, and trust me, you're not going to want to miss it. So once again, folks, go Big Red, go Matt Rhule, and see you tomorrow.